MrMacRight presents his top 10 games released on Mac in 2022. For reference, all games have been played on a 16-inch MacBook Pro with M1 Max. Number 10, we have Disney Dreamlight Valley. It's not every day Gameloft bring games to Mac, as they typically focus on mobile. Sure, this is a Disney game, so it won't be for everyone, but it's a huge game for Mac and has some gorgeous, stylized graphics. Disney Dreamlight Valley is a hybrid between a life sim and an adventure game, rich with quests, exploration, and engaging activities featuring Disney and Pixar friends, both old and new. The game runs natively on the ARM architecture, so expect 1080p gameplay on, let's say, a MacBook Air, and up to 4K gameplay on a Mac Studio. Disney Dreamlight Valley is only available on the Mac App Store. It is only supported on Apple Silicon-based Macs. Note it is in early access, and some users are reporting a few bugs and crashes later in the game. Number 9 is Prodeus. Prodeus is a first-person shooter of old, reimagined using modern rendering techniques and technology. Experience the quality you'd expect from a modern AAA game designed with retro aesthetics and gameplay that invoke the tech-imposed limits of older hardware. The developer, Bounding Box Software, includes members that have worked on huge AAA games in the past, and you can see the love and passion they have poured into Prodeus. Prodeus is available for Mac via Steam and GOG. It is best played on an Intel Mac with a 4GB or better dedicated graphics card or an Apple Silicon Mac. It's native on Apple Silicon-based Macs, but it hasn't been optimized very well. Be sure to have an M1 or M2 Mac with at least 16GB of memory for the best performance. Number 8, we have Crumble. In early 2022, Crumble was finally ported to Mac. While most AAA games don't arrive on Mac, I'm always happy that many of these innovative indie games see a Mac build. Crumble is a dynamic physics platformer. Move like a slime, jump like a ball, or swing like Spider-Man. It has a campaign mode, a multiplayer party mode for up to 4 local players, skins, and heaps of unique environments with insane crumbling chaos and swinging mechanics. A controller is strongly recommended for this one. Crumble is only available for Mac via Steam. There is also a free demo available to see if you enjoy the game. It is supported on Macs back to 2012. Number 7 is X-Plane 12. X-Plane 12 is a flight simulator with real-world physics, accurate aircraft systems, and an immersive simulation of the world. Unlike the prior game, this one is native on Apple Silicon, running under the ARM architecture, and supports AMD FSR to improve performance at high resolutions. On my 16-inch MacBook Pro with M1 Max, I was able to play this game at 4K high with 45 to 60 FPS, which is quite impressive. X-Plane 12 is out in early access via Steam and the game's official website. A 15-minute demo is available on the game's website too. It is best played on an Intel Mac with an 8GB or better dedicated graphics card or an Apple Silicon-based Mac with 16GB or more of memory. Number 6, we have TUNIC. Explore a land filled with lost legends, ancient powers, and ferocious monsters in TUNIC, an isometric action game about a small fox on a big adventure. Please don't judge this game based off its cute graphics. It's more difficult than it looks, with the challenging gameplay you'd find from a Souls-like game. I strongly recommend a controller for this one too, as it helps for the combat sequences. TUNIC is available for Mac via Steam, the Epic Games Store, and GOG. It is best played on an Intel Mac with a 2GB or better dedicated graphics card or an Apple Silicon based Mac. In fact, it runs under the ARM architecture on M1 and M2 based Macs, which is good to see from an indie developer and the publisher Finji. Number 5 is Cult of the Lamb. Cult of the Lamb has players starting their own cult in a land of false prophets, venturing out into diverse and mysterious regions to build a loyal community of woodland followers and spread your word to become the one true cult. Build your flock, destroy the non-believers, and spread your word. I like to think of this game as the following: a cross between action roguelike and management simulator. Think, I don't know, Stardew Valley and The Binding of Isaac, set in a cute and creepy world of funny animals resembling happy tree friends. Cult of the Lamb is available for Mac via Steam and GOG. There is also a free demo available to see if you enjoy the game. It is best played on an Intel Mac with a 2GB or better dedicated graphics card or an Apple Silicon based Mac. Unfortunately, the game still isn't optimized for Apple Silicon based Macs. It runs under Rosetta. Hopefully, Devolver Digital can change this in the future. Number 4, we have Inscryption. The massively moody Inscryption breaks all the card game rules. Inscryption is a game I don't really like to explain in depth, for the sole reason as it's best experienced going in blind. Here is what I will say. The art style is super creepy, reminding me of retro horror games and 90s kids horror shows. The gameplay is a mix of deck-building roguelike, escape room-style puzzles, and psychological horror. Inscryption won the Mac Game of the Year in the 2022 App Store Awards. It's obviously not my favourite Mac Game of the Year, but that is still a very good achievement. Inscryption is available for Mac via the App Store, Steam, the Epic Games Store, and GOG. A lot of options there. It is supported on a wide range of Macs out there. Number 3 is Psychonauts 2. Psychonauts 2 finally arrived on Mac in 2022, after initially launching on other platforms in August 2021. It's a terrific 3D platform adventure game with cinematic style and tons of customizable psychic powers to try out. If you're a fan of SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, A Hat in Time, Ukulele, Spyro Reignited, or Ratchet & Clank, you must try out this one. There are unique environments to explore, lots of enemies to fight, characters to meet, and puzzles to solve. Even though the game runs under Rosetta, it has good performance on M1 and M2 based Macs. You can expect 1080p on, let's say, a 13-inch MacBook Pro and 4K on a Mac Studio. Psychonauts 2 is available for Mac via the App Store, Steam, and GOG. It is best played on an Intel Mac with a 4GB or better dedicated graphics card or an Apple Silicon based Mac.
What was I supposed to do again? It's him! I've got to stop him! No.
Number 2, we have Total War WARHAMMER III. The earth-shattering conclusion to the Total War Warhammer trilogy is here for Mac. Rally your forces and step into the realm of chaos, a dimension of mind-bending horror where the very fate of the world will be decided. Feral brought WARHAMMER III to Mac in May 2022, only a few months after the initial Windows PC version in February 2022. This is quite an improvement over WARHAMMER II, which was delayed over a year for Mac. Currently, due to certain middleware being Intel only, the game uses Rosetta 2. However, the game has been specifically optimized for the M1 architecture. Feral told me the good news is that the game performs just as well using Rosetta 2 as it does when running natively. Total War WARHAMMER III is available for Mac via Steam. It is officially supported on all Apple Silicon based Macs and is unofficially supported on Macs with an AMD GPU that supports macOS Monterey 12.5. Number 1, we have Resident Evil Village. Here is my favourite Mac game of 2022, Resident Evil Village. This game is likely the biggest AAA game to ever hit Mac and is developed by one of the biggest developers out there, Capcom. Resident Evil Village was made in collaboration with the Apple Metal engineering team. It takes advantage of Metal 3 features, such as Metal FX upscaling, to deliver improved performance at high resolutions. This means an M2 MacBook Air can comfortably play the game at 1080p 60 FPS, and a high-end Mac, such as a 16-inch MacBook Pro like mine, can play it at 4K 60 FPS. The Winter's Expansion DLC is also planned for release, hopefully in 2023. For some users, mouse and keyboard input is unresponsive. Capcom are investigating this, but they are taking their sweet time. Hurry up! Until the issue is resolved, use a game controller. Resident Evil Village is only available for Mac via the App Store. It is only supported on Apple Silicon-based Macs. I hope this game can encourage more developers to bring their AAA games to Mac in the coming years. Here are some bonus games. 2 Point Campus has you building a university. Build, hire staff, and run an academic institution packed with wild courses. The Wandering Village is a city-building simulation game on the back of a giant wandering creature. Warhammer 40,000, Shootas, Blood and Teef, if that's how you say it, is a classic 2D side-scrolling action game. It is filled with intense action, funny one-liners, screaming deaths, and comical dialogues. In LEGO Bricktales, discover an innovative brick-by-brick building mechanic to design puzzle solutions from your own imagination. Ooh! Victoria 3 invites you to build your ideal society in the uproar of the exciting and transformative 19th century. What do you think of these new Mac games from 2022? Are you impressed or disappointed? For me, look, it wasn't the best year, but it wasn't the worst either. Despite the release of Metal 3, not much really happened. We have some great indie games, but only one AAA game, Resident Evil Village. Feral Interactive have confirmed that Grid Legends has been delayed until 2023 for Mac, but they have showcased some footage of the game running on a 2021 M1 MacBook Pro. Looks great. On the other hand, Hello Games have said absolutely nothing on the release of No Man's Sky for Mac. It was supposed to release in late 2022. Here's hoping they say something in early 2023. At the end of the day, it's good to have a polished game over a rushed one. M2H have also confirmed that their World War I FPS game Izonzo will be coming to Mac in 2023 now. Awesome! Anyway, leave a like if you found this video useful, and subscribe and turn on notifications to stay up to date with everything Mac gaming related. My name's Stewie, and thanks for watching.